My name is George Frankis, and this is Destroying Heresy. Remember, heresy can be orthodox or can be unorthodox. But real heresy is any doctrine that people believe or churches, but that cannot be proven in the Bible. Today I want to touch the subject of when was Satan cast out of heaven. And the majority believe that Satan was cast out of heaven a long time ago, at the beginning, and was cast out of heaven into the earth to create havoc on the earth. But if we look at the Bible, there is no place in the Bible where we can find that Satan was cast out of heaven. It's not there. Because if we go back to Genesis, in Genesis, the Creator put Adam and Eve in the garden, and he was living with Adam and Eve in the garden. And Satan was there also. And we can see that the garden was made after Adam. Let's take a look at Genesis 2:7. Genesis 2:7. And the Creator planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So Adam was created first, and the garden was created after. And we can see in Genesis, you can read it for yourself, that when they sinned, the Creator was walking in the garden. Let's take a look at some of the few verses. Chapter 3 of Genesis, we can read. Verse 8. And they heard the voice of the Creator walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Creator amongst the trees of the garden. And the Creator called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. So here, the Creator was living with Adam and Eve. And in Genesis and in Revelation, we see all the same thing. That at the end, Revelation 21 and 22, the Creator is going to be with all men. Revelation 22, verse 1. And he shewed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Creator and of the Lamb. In the midst of the tree of it, and on either side of the river was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manners of fruit, and yielded her fruits every month, and he lived. And the leaf of the tree were for the healing of the nation. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of the Creator shall be, and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. So Genesis and Revelation, you have the same history, that the Creator was with Adam and Eve, and then the Creator is going to be with all the people, all the saved people of the whole world. But Satan was created in the garden, because in Ezekiel 28 says that. Let's go to Ezekiel 28. 28. I want to show you something in Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28 is a chapter that explains where Satan was created. In verse 13 we read, remember Ezekiel 28, we're going to touch this subject later, about who's the king of Tyros and who is the prince. The prince always is a subject of the king. The king in Ezekiel 28 is Satan, but the prince is a person that resembles the papacy. But we're going to touch this in future video. Verse 12 of Ezekiel 28. Son of man, take a lamentation upon the king of Tyre, and say unto him, Thus says the Creator, Thou sealed up the tomb, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He was the last, he sealed the tomb. He was the last to be created. Thou hast been in Eden, and I submit to you, look in the strong concordance, the word here, thou hast been, that word is 1961 in the Hebrew, I mean his creation, he was born in the garden. And even the text clears this up. Thou hast been in the garden, or thou hast created in the garden. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tablet and of thy pipe was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. So here we see in verse 13 that some people, not the Creator, some people was before Satan created musical instrument for him to play. We're going to touch this in the future, the creation of Satan in the Bible, because we are here in this series of video, Destroying Heresy. Now, we come back to Genesis. The garden was created after Adam, and in Ezekiel 28, the devil was created, the last, and he was created in the garden. And the pattern, I have to touch the pattern because I don't want you to leave you in, in limbo. But if you look in Genesis, fish and birds were created first, then the animals of the ground, and then men. Why the Creator did not create men first? Because he doesn't want anybody to glory in his presence. And in Psalm 8, we read that. Let's go to Psalms 8. In Psalms 8, that speaks about creation, we see that the angels were created after man. Let's read it. O our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Who has set thy glory above the heavens? Out of the mouths of babes and suckling hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, and that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider the heavens, the works of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him? And the son of man that thou visited him? Why the Creator placed man so important? Let's continue. What is man that thou art mindful of him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angel. Now the word here had nothing to do with size. It had to do with in the order of creation. Angels were created after man. And who confirmed this? Because here the word, thou hast made him a little lower than the angel, cannot be accepted as a doctrine, because in the book of Revelation, let me show you that the size of men is the same as the size of angels. Let's come to Revelation 21. Revelation 21:10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and shewed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending of heaven from the Creator, having the glory of the Creator, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Listen to this. Verse 3, on verse 14, and the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gate thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city, listen to this, verse 17, and he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits. This 144 had to do with the 144,000 are going to destroy all heresy. That's what it means. Because the wall protects the city. But listen to this. The size of men is the size of angels. Here in verse 17 is clear this up. See, and he measured the wall thereof, and 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. So angels and men are of the same size. So when we come back to Psalms 8, we see that when we read, what is man? Verse 5, for thou hast made him a little lower than the angel. What it's really saying is that the Creator made man before the angels. And if we look at the pattern found in Revelation, we see fish, birds, then the animals of the ground, then man, then angels, because Psalms 8 says that man was created before the angel. And Ezekiel 28 said that Satan was the seal of the sum of the creation. And as he was created in the garden was created after Adam. So you see, that's what the Savior says, search the scripture. Now, we are destroying many heresies here, but my point is, where in the Bible people take that Satan was cast out of heaven? Now, and the only place that we can find out is in the book of Revelation, chapter 12. But before we read Revelation 12, I want to show you something why Revelation 12, the casting of Satan cannot be used to say that he was cast in the beginning out of heaven. Because in the garden was everything done, and was Adam and Eve, and Satan was there in the garden. The Creator, everybody was there. In the book of Revelation, to understand the book of Revelation, you have to look at mainly some verses that give you the timeline and the time history on the book of Revelation. In Revelation 1:19 we read, write the things which thou hast seen. Write everything that you see. John, that's what was said unto John. Write the things which thou hast seen, the things which are the present thing. What are the present things? Are the seven churches of Revelation from chapter 2 and 3. And the things which shall be hereafter, future events. Now, we have to have in mind that John was in the island of Patmos. He was imprisoned for preaching the word. When he received the book of Revelation, he was told, write everything, present and future events. So we cannot take anything from the book of Revelation and apply to the beginning of the history in the Bible, because you cannot do it, because the language in Revelation 1:19 don't allow. Also, in Revelation 4, the first verse explains that from Revelation 4 to Revelation 22 is talking about future events. Let's see it. Revelation 4:1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come hither, and I will shew thee which must be in the future hereafter. So Revelation 4 to the future, Revelation 4 to Revelation 22 is speaking about future events after John in the island of Patmos, and you cannot use Revelation before that for any reason at all. And another thing, to understand the book of Revelation, you have to have in mind the secret to understand Revelation is Revelation 1:3. Let's read it. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. People see Revelation as difficult, but Revelation is easy. And the only admonition we have for the book of Revelation is to read it, to keep it, to read it or to hear the book of Revelation and keep it. And when the events come to pass, you will identify the events because you have in your mind the book of Revelation. That's what he said. Let's read it again. Blessed is he that read it, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So now let's come to Revelation chapter 12 to understand when was Satan, if ever, was he cast out of heaven. And I will show you in Revelation 12 that Satan is not cast out of heaven. He still goes to heaven because he's the accuser of the brethren. And in Revelation 12 explains clear when the Satan is going to be cast out of heaven. Now, we saw in Revelation 4:1 that from Revelation 4 to 22 are all future events. So now let's begin with Revelation chapter 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now those 12 stars are the 12 apostles of the Lamb, as stated in Revelation 21, that the foundation of the New Jerusalem are the 12 apostles. And we're going to touch that subject in the future too. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. So we see here the new world government. This had to be a study also with Revelation 13. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Now, people use this verse to say that Satan was cast out of heaven long time ago. But you cannot use this verse, because the stars of heaven in the book of Daniel, you can read it in Daniel chapter 12. Let me show it to you. The stars of heaven represent the people of the Creator. Daniel 12. Verse, let me see. Daniel 12, 3. And they that be wise shall shine at the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness at the stars forever and ever. So the stars of heaven are the people of the Creator. And here we see that the devil, when in verse 4, Revelation 12, this drawing of the third part of the stars of heaven will mean persecution. And I'm going to show it to you in a farther in this same chapter. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, and for to devour her child as soon as he was born. Now, in verse 5, it said, and she brought forth a man-child. Listen to this, beloved. The word here is in the plural. The word technion always is in the plural in the whole New Testament. But they want to make us believe now that the word technion is a child, when the word technion always is in the plural, mean children. So she gave us children. And I'm going to prove that to you in Revelation 2:26. Let's read it first, what the man-child does. And Revelation 12:5. And she brought forth a man-child, which was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child, her 10 young children, was caught up unto the Creator and to his throne. This word caught is protected. It's talking about 144,000. Now let's come to Revelation 2:26 and 27. These apply also to the church. Revelation 2:26, this is the message to who? To the church of, church of Thyatira. Let's read it. Revelation 2:26 and 27. And he that overcomes and keep my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nation. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. At the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. You see, Revelation 12 is not being fulfilled. The devil is still go to heaven. He's the accuser of the brethren. Let me show you now when the devil is going to be thrown to heaven. He will be cast out of heaven when the 144,000 be formed on this earth. Let's read it. Let's come to Revelation 12:5. And she brought forth children. That's the word teknion is in the plural. And she brought forth children who was to rule in all nations with a rod of iron. And her children was caught up unto the Creator, unto his throne. And the woman, you see, the woman fled into the wilderness for 260 days. That means 3.5 years. We're talking about the 3.5 years of tribulation on this earth. So Revelation only speaks about the 3.5 years of persecution on this earth when the new world order take control of the world. So let's continue reading. And the woman, this is the Creator, first allow his people to run into the desert, into the country. That's what Yahushua said. Pray that you should be able to escape the things that are coming. And that your escape will not be neither in winter, neither on Shabbat. So let's read it. Let's put this together. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of the Creator, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Now in verse 7 we see that it's a war in heaven, and then when the Creator allows his people to be protected, then is when the devil is cast out of heaven. Let's read it. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angel and prevailed not. Neither was there place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth. And his angels were cast out with him. You see, so verse 3-4 is talking about the same persecution that the devil is going to bring upon this woman that represents the church. And verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our Creator, and the power of the Moshiach, for the accuser of the brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God, Creator, day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their life unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heaven, and you that dwell in earth. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he had but a short time. And that's the short time that Yahushua mentioned in Matthew 24. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth their children. Remember, the word children is plural. You cannot use the word children as one child. And this is what the theologian want us to believe here. But when we look at Revelation 12, the woman gave children. And this is confirmed by Revelation 2:26-27. So let's continue. And the woman, this is verse 13 of Revelation 12. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Another hint that I want to give you here is that why the Creator give the time in different ways, because nobody can invent anything. 1260 days is the same that 3.5 times. We're talking about 3.5 years. We see the same in Revelation 13. We see that in Daniel 12. In Daniel 7 and 8, the same time. 1260, 200 in Daniel 12 at the end we see 1335, 1290, 1290, 1260. And here we see this 3.5 years of tribulation on this earth. And to the woman were given two wings of a great eagle, meaning that the Creator is going to give the escape to his children, and nobody can stop that. That's what it was given unto her, the wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to carry away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. And who is this woman? And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Creator and have the testimony of Jehovah. So you see, beloved, we'll be going through the whole book of Revelation. But in Revelation 12, I prove to you now, in this video, that the devil was never cast out of heaven. He will be cast out in the future at the beginning of the 1260 days of persecution of the 3.5 time. Because Revelation 4:1 explains that Revelation chapter 4 to 22 are future events. So destroying heresy, what heresy we destroy here? That the devil was cast out of heaven and from the beginning, and that's not what the Bible teaches. We saw already in Genesis that the Creator was the Adam and Eve, the devil was there, the angels were there, and the same thing we see at the end in the book of Revelation, that the Creator is going to be with the people and in the New Jerusalem, and even the garden, the tree of life will be in the middle of the New Jerusalem. Thank you, beloved. I always say, remember, heresy can be orthodox and unorthodox, but real heresy is any doctrine that cannot be proved with the Bible. Thank you for watching this video. Maranatha.